Hello everyone, and welcome to the show.
If you should awaken, I will be there when you wake from your lovely
Welcome back. I am your host, CURT Williams Jr., but you can call me Kurt, spiritualist, hermeticist, and metaphysician. Now, today, what we will be discussing is simply this. I want to go back a little bit to what we were talking about last week when we were talking about the different levels of heaven. But I'm not going to spend too much time on that because I'm going to save the video for that for next week. However, just to keep us up to speed on what we're talking about here is when you so-called die, which is something you never do, really. You live on. As a spiritualist, what I do is I communicate directly with the spirit that's what's inside of me only. I reject the notion of all kinds of different thoughts or entities coming into my head because I deem all of that to be completely unnecessary. I'm very, you know how the Bible says, serve one God? Well, I believe in serving one spirit. And that is the one in my head already, the one who I am, and the one that is connected to the Supreme Being. All that other stuff can get to be really out of hand because if you think about it, the truth of the matter is, if there is such a thing as evil spirits, as people talk about all the time, well, they are probably a situation that is very opportunistic, meaning that they will try to influence you at any means necessary. You have to be careful sometimes when you pray and you ask for, come into me and help me with this or that and the other, because if I were them, that would be an opening for me to jump in and do what I want to do with you. And perhaps that is the reason why we have so many people running around in all these odd type spiritual. It's hard for me to understand how a loving spiritual person can be so damaging for humanity. But as we can see, that humanity is failing miserably because of the negative attitude of the people themselves. So, what I'm trying to do is get people to understand that inside of you is a spirit that is a positive one and not a negative one. So this is the thing that I'm trying to teach people. This is my whole entire ministry. Now I've been having, like I said, discussions about the different heavenly realms. From my teaching, from my learning, there's 5 levels. The first level, the lowest level, is not even considered a heaven. It is simply called planet Earth, where we are right now. The issues, the problems, the challenges that we have going on here are basically the most challenging things you should ever have to experience. The challenges here have to do with life itself. Life itself and the complexities of life. You're not really, it's going to sound a little harsh, what I'm going to say right now, but if you are a reincarnationist like myself, then you have to consider the circumstances in which certain human beings are born into. The circumstances where you are left being extremely challenged, starving children and things of that nature. These things, it would be horrible for me to say it's their own fault. I don't want to say that. But there has to be some kind of repercussions for your life that you have pretty much mismanaged, so to speak. If you mismanage your life, there's got to be some kind of penalty, but it's not a penalty that the Creator is bestowing on you. It's a penalty that you are bestowing upon yourself. And what better way to do that than to take your life's essence, your life being, to the beginning of a new one with certain challenges. I don't like to see boxers, for instance, get into a boxing ring and said, God said, I'm going to kick your butt. Well, God doesn't play sports that way. Free will has to do with, if you want to try to kick somebody's butt, you're on your own, but you're not going to get any extra help from me, simply because that's not important. The important thing is how you handle yourself, and hopefully you'll do that with some form of dignity. And if not, you will have repercussions because of that. So, the Creator doesn't take sides. And for the same reason, the Creator doesn't take sides when it comes to issues dealing with complexities of life. He's not going to make someone poor. He's not going to make someone rich. He's going to sit back and watch people do what people do. And there's no sides to be taken, because sometimes it is the rich that get in the most trouble. Sometimes it's the humble that are on a faster path to a higher level of humanity, so to speak, or spirituality. That's what we're here for. We're here to raise the level of spirituality in people. I have been having a difficult time adjusting to my mission because of the level of resistance that I've been running into. It seems that people don't want to hear what I have to say about spirituality. And I've been trying to wonder if I am approaching things the right way. The only thing that I could feel about all that is you have a notion of never giving up, don't give up on people and things like that. But at the same time, you have to respect people and their free will. You have to really respect their journey. And so I have a friend. I haven't known her very long, but long enough to know that we have a very complicated relationship. It seems like we argue about things that we shouldn't be arguing about. What I mean is that we get into debates where we are saying the same thing, but I can't get her to understand the same thing from my standpoint. The complexity of all this stems from there's a creator. of all things is what I say. She says there's a creator of all things. So you would think we would be on the same level there. However, where it gets complicated is how those things communicate with you. I say you have the supreme being and the spirit that's a part of that being connected to that being inside of us. That's why I'm a spiritualist, because my brain is able to communicate with this spirit. This spirit is able to talk to my brain, and my brain is able to hear it. Whereas in a lot of people, they don't have the connection between their spirit and their brain, and they need other people to interpret the creator for them verbally, like pastors. Pastors will take their information, and you sit down in a church and you hear the pastor explain to you the creator as if you didn't have a spirit. However, your spirit is there the whole time, wishing that it could communicate with you. It wants to communicate with you directly. It doesn't like a middleman, because the middleman, first of all, he might be talking to 1,000 people. If it's a mega church, he's talking to 2,000, 3,000 people. How is he telling 3,000 people a message that should be specific to you? That's why you have pastors telling people general information. They just keep repeating the same thing over and over in the Bible because it's general information and it's not specific. Your spirit is specific to you. And this is what I was trying to get the friend to understand. Instead of looking outside of yourself, look inside, because this is the one that's connected to God. And we're arguing back and forth. The thing about it is we are really saying, what I'm saying is this. If she's listening to two guys over here, I told her the same thing I told a woman at the Conscious Life Expo. She was a tarot card reader. And I walked up to her and I said, hey, I have a theory about your cards. I'd like to see what you think about this. She said, welcome. I said, I don't think you're doing anything. I think that the work that you think you're doing, you're not doing at all. I don't think you are sitting here putting cards in a place and predicting people's lives. What I think is happening is the spirit that is within that person sees you as an opportunity to communicate with the being that they're not able to communicate with directly. I think the spirit in that person is getting you to turn the cards in the way that it wants you to turn to give the message to the person, which is even better, because that relieves her of the responsibility of all she's doing is reading your mind. If 5 people come to her and each person's spirit is communicating with her, then the cards may turn over well for each individual 5, instead of her trying to read. And she agreed. She said, that sounds perfect for me, because I know it's not me. Whatever's coming through me to turn the cards and make the cards do what they do, she said she's not responsible for. So she was thanking me for the information. This is somebody who's been doing this for 40 years. And she was thanking me for finally telling her how it was happening, because she knew it was somebody. It was almost as if she was saying, she was thinking that it was some kind of special gift she has. And I told her that it is a special gift you have. But your gift is simply that you can read spirits, and spirits can communicate with you. So I'm trying to tell this friend of mine that the people that are trying to tell her something, the only reason they are there to tell her anything at all is because your spirit asked them to do that for you. because your spirit knows you would listen to them before you, because you don't have this connection, you know. And so, because I do have that connection, I reject I reject people coming up to me trying to tell me things, because I don't want to get my connection diluted. Now, at the Conscious Life Expo, I did experience a group of people who had a book called The Knowledge Book. And they wanted me to pay close attention to their book, so I did some investigating on the book itself. And what seemed very interesting about what it was saying that, yes, there are people like myself that are here. Our mission is to help human civilization raise their level of consciousness, which is what I've been saying for the past 4 years, what I wanted to do. So it was nice to hear something that was in agreement with that. But it also said that the problem is simply this: I am not going to be able to break through to peoples whose conscious level is not ready for that. I think that's why I'm having such a difficult time getting people to understand what I'm saying, even if I'm saying the same thing that they're saying in a different way. Because what happens in religion, for instance, religion depends on people coming back to the forum and bringing their funds in order for the religion to exist. So if the religion, I don't believe, wants to teach you how to communicate with your spirit, because that would make them say, hey, what do we need you for? I wish I can get someone in religion, a pastor or someone, to understand that the beauty of church is the communion of people. It's the people coming together, and the more spiritual those people are, the better they're going to all get along. They won't be so dependent on the pastor. The pastors can teach people how to communicate with their spirit, so that when he speaks, their own spirit will interpret what he's trying to say. It's like you have say you have 1,000 people in the congregation, and the pastor's talking. Well, he might say one thing, but the spirit of each person is able to relay that message to that person in their own unique individual way, as opposed to going and hearing the same generic message that is not going to change. It's going to be the same for another 2,000 years until somebody figures this thing out. As long as they don't allow it to change, well, then it will stay and will remain the same. And religion will always end up being a barrier between spiritual growth, because it retards the nature of the purpose. The nature of the purpose is to elevate, not to stay the same. We still need church, because we still need to come together and party. We still need the group. But what we don't need is a stagnant message. And your spirit inside of you knows what it wants you to hear. Now I have a very special video for you today. It is a song that I wrote years ago, and I decided to revisit because we brought up the term ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means that you are here all the time and you are everywhere. That's the one thing unique about the creator of the universe. It is unique about the creator of the universe. If you could understand the concept of that and focus on this concept, then you could kind of realize there is a paradox. There's a difficulty in some of the biblical stories, like the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden was a situation where Yahweh came in and was looking for Adam and Eve. And then it discovered Adam and Eve, found out something was wrong because they were dressed a little different, come to find out that they had been talking to a snake. That has nothing to do with ubiquitousness. Ubiquitous would have known everything about that situation before it ever happened. A ubiquitous God would not be looking for anybody. He would have known thousands of years before that person was created what they were going to do, and if that's the case, only a negative spirit would send a snake of all things. The only thing wrong with all that is the story itself. It's just not true. In my book, that is the true Garden of Eden story, and there wasn't no talking snake, because that's all ridiculous. The whole story of Abraham, God telling Abraham to kill his son, is another ridiculous notion, because a ubiquitous God would understand that that situation is not even close to being something that a ubiquitous creator would do, because he would already know what is in the said heart of Abraham. So, check out my video, Ubiquitous, and I'll see you on the other side.
For without thou can existence be? I don't know how atheist could not exist without these plays that you create.
He said he was never away from me.
Now ubiquitous, let me explain. It means you're everywhere, everywhere, and it's all the same. You can be high, and you can be low. You can be fast, and you can be slow.
The Master spoke to me. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
The Master spoke to me. Oh my Lord. He said your head to the sky, your wonder to me
will be for me.
He said he'll be there, ubiquitously. Ubiquitous.
Omnipresent,
always around you.
He's always around you, around you.
He's there. He said he is never away from me.
Never away.
He said he will always be there for me.
Always there.
He said to walk by faith and not what I see.
And not what I see.
He'll always be there, ubiquitously. He said he is never away from me.
He's never away.
He said he will always be there for me.
by faith and not what I see. I don't trust what I see. He will always be there, ubiquitously. He said he is never away from me. He said he will always be there for me. He said to walk by faith and not what you see. Not what you see. He will always be there. Always be there. Ubiquitous, ubiquitous.
Subscribe and push the like button.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. So you understand, the Creator is everywhere. He's always there. The song says, keep your head to the sky and wonders will be. I didn't bring you this far to leave. And so what I'm trying to get people to understand that the Creator is within you by way of a parcel of Him. The Creator here that is within everything has linked a parcel of Him into you. This into you part is your own personal debit card to the Creator. It's the kind of thing where it allows the Creator to be ubiquitous. How else can it be ubiquitous unless there's a piece of Him that's in everything? That's the true definition of ubiquitousness. Everywhere, all the time. I don't expect anyone to conceptualize that notion simply because our brains don't have the capacity to do so. You just have to take my word for the fact that the Creator is within everything. So all of these things that are... Now, I also heard recently that the paradoxes and the conflicts and the contradictions are a positive thing. The fact that you have contradictions in the Bible. The reason I heard recently that there are contradictions in the Bible, it is because it is those contradictions that cause you to think about. The contradictions are not there for you to accept as gospel. They're there to cause you to think, because those paradoxes cannot be. If it says one thing that conflicts with another, that means it's time to think, not time to accept. That paradox is to take individuals of different conscious levels to consider and examine. The higher the conscious level of people, the higher the understanding of that paradox. The paradox is not there to be a paradox. The paradox is there to be solved. Thank you guys for coming. I love everybody. And thank you for your patience. And if we can't raise our level of spirituality, well, then we can certainly try.
subscribe and push the like button.